Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video. I'm myself, Jonathan MS Pearce. This is a Ukraine war breaking news update for the 9th of July 2025, very late on the 9th of July UK time. And I thought this was significant enough as a kind of military declaration from the French government to talk about in a breaking news piece, because I think cruise missiles for the Ukrainians are hugely important. We're going to come on to that in a second. What's the news? Well, France has resumed production of SCALP-EG cruise missiles for the first time in 15 years. Now, I believe they've been making them. I've talked for some time that the UK has not had production of the Storm Shadow. It does have a midlife update adaptation of existing missiles in stock, but it's not producing new ones, even though I think it was Grant Shapps, our previous Secretary of Defence, walks around a manufacturing facility, and that there was talk about the production being in motion for that missile. But actually, I think it was just the midlife updates that were being sorted out. And I thought the French were making them. I think they might still be making them for export, but they're not making them seriously for themselves or indeed for Ukraine, because they'll be basically giving Ukraine their own stocks. Now, this is Sébastien Lecornu, the defense minister, saying that production, and this is him speaking, this is from his own Twitter account, production of Scalp missiles to equip our forces will resume in 2025, 15 years after our last orders. So they haven't manufactured them for their own stockpiles for 15 years, and I presume it's because they have given so many to Ukraine. So the question is going to be, will these be for Ukraine at all? Anyway, on MBDA UK site in Stevenage with my counterpart John Healey. So the French are in the UK at the moment. Macron's been there talking to parliamentarians, having a supper with the king, etc., etc. And here, Sébastien Lecornu is at MBDA UK. So this is a kind of French conglomerate in the UK. The UK facility where he's with John Healey, the Defence Secretary in the UK, Secretary for Defence. He said, where some of the missiles are produced. Supplied to Ukraine, the Franco-British Scalp or Storm Shadow missile has demonstrated its effectiveness in modern high-intensity combat in decisive situations. As a joint venture between France, the UK, Italy and Germany, of course, the Germans have the Taurus. I don't know whether the production of Storm Shadow or SCALP-EG has components from Germany. Possibly it does. MBDA is a symbol of Europe's leading defense industry. So SCALP-EGs have gone from France and Italy from their stockpiles to Ukraine, although Italy has said you can't use any of our missiles to strike into Russia, but the French and British don't have that restriction. And Storm Shadows from the UK have gone, and they're broadly the same sort of missile, really. Now the question is, okay, will these get to Ukraine? Because, there are claims that Ukraine have been firing them tonight. There's been this sudden surge of cruise missile usage by the Ukrainians in the last 2 weeks, right? They have hit command posts certainly in Donetsk. I think they've been used in Crimea, and they might even have been used up into Kursk as well. So they've suddenly found a bunch more of these, or are using what stockpiles they had left, possibly because there was talk about some more coming online. I don't know. I'm massively speculating here. I would hope that the production of these missiles will mean that Ukraine gets more of these missiles. That would be the bare minimum hope for myself. Now, Etienne Marcuse here says, important news for Europe and Ukraine. The production of French-British Scalp Storm Shadow long-range cruise missiles will restart this year, 15 years after the last order was placed with MBDA. The number of new missiles ordered remains unknown for now. And then there's some addition down here. While several systems are currently being studied, including longer range cruise missiles and ballistic missiles, restarting production of existing systems is vital to show European willingness to face and therefore deter short-term threats. As someone pointed out to me, the French MOD's post mentions a restart of production for the benefit of the French forces. This will replenish French stocks of SCALP-EG used in past combat operations and those donated to Ukraine. Production may have continued for export customers. So the SCALP-EG missiles exported to India were from existing inventory, to which Markud says, that's a great question. I thought myself that the missile was still being produced for export. So Fabian Hoffman, a missiles expert, says, rather kind of negatively, but still it's a win, he says at the end. So after 3.5 years, Europe finally resumes cruise missile production of a system that was conceived 35 years ago and entered service 28 years ago. France, along with the UK and Germany, should have placed large orders for SCALP-EG, Storm Shadow and the Taurus by mid-2022. By now, the supply chain could have been fully operational and shifting towards an improved design. But we've been calling this for years, so I'll take the win. I mean, that is exactly right. We have, all of us, pretty much been saying they should be building these still, big time. They should be putting orders in for cruise missiles. I said that, I think one of my ideas, goodness knows how long ago, was that the UK should just forget doing other things, like, I don't know, providing tanks. Let the tanks be another country that does that. UK, just as an idea, would be specialize in support. We're going to make cruise missiles and ASRAAM missiles, maybe for Ravens or whatever. Just missiles, because Ukraine really bloody needs missiles. So if we do that, then France can do something else, Germany can do something else. So you kind of specialize in what you're going to give to Ukraine. Because I was thinking, look, missiles are so freaking important and no one seems to be focusing on them. So just UK, just put all of your eggs in that one basket. That was just an idea, but the point is that we should have been thinking about missile provision way before this moment. It's 3.5 years into the war, and we're like, should we build some cruise missiles for Ukraine? Well, actually, the question is, will they be for Ukraine? Is this just going to be to replenish stocks, given that there could be threats coming from Russia or other places that actually, France might be thinking we really need to make sure our own stocks are as replenished as they should be. So it might not be so much to do with providing missiles for Ukraine, but I would hope that is part of the equation here for sure. I mean, as mentioned, they are using them at the moment. Why would they suddenly be using them unless they'd been given a whole bunch more, or unless they were due to receive more, with maybe hints that the Allies would be restarting production, etc. So this is good news, definitely good news. I don't know much detail here, so there's a lot of speculation, but let me know what you think. Hopefully we will see lots of cruise missiles in the hands of the Ukrainians, and hopefully they're also manufacturing their own. That is a potential that has been hinted at over the recent months. We know that they're definitely making ballistic missiles. Are they making air-launched cruise missiles? That would be fantastic. They are so useful. I think that the Ukrainians have shown how useful these are by the strikes that have taken place over the last couple of weeks. And it's been great to see them use these cruise missiles again, as there's been that hiatus of using them essentially for months and months and months. Right. Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care, guys. Time for some sleep. Toodle pits.